they are not competing amongst each other, that they are really complementing each other. We have the TFD initiative for digitizing and automating trade distribution, where Trade Tech is partnering also with additional technology providers, in particular with Xdc Network for the tokenization. We really see this theme of collaboration amongst fintechs being applied here, and the banks will benefit.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing great. XDC is the topic of this video. We're going to dive into the latest development, a huge deal going on with SECURRENCY and the Xdc Foundation. We're going to look into that. Also, the IFTA Porta event is coming to a close, and we're going to understand, or better have a better understanding of the TOTTA and what this means for the Xdc Foundation, and more on the TFD initiative. So you're definitely going to want to watch this video all the way to the end. Please do hit the like and share and subscribe. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. I have a DCENT announcement. Are you wanting to grow your business, your channel, your company, and offer more products to your customers to make them happy? Look no further. We are looking for partners. Do you have your own website, store, distribution channel maybe, and you want to sell DCENT products? We are looking for partners who can do just that. Join our reseller and distribution program and get access to the most popular hardware wallets in the world at bulk discounts. Our partners are very important to us, and we treat them well, and we help you build a successful business. The best prices for the best wallets, and we also have access to dedicated support and marketing materials. Become one of our authorized reseller partners, and your company can be listed here. If you're wanting to learn more, I'm going to put the link in the description below, so go ahead and look it over. And hopefully DCENT can help make your business grow. In this clip, we're going to hear from Andre Kosterman explaining how major market transformations are underway due to this new technology. He's also going to explain new client expectations, SMEs, which are small to medium enterprise institutional investors, and digital assets and more. He's also going to explain how major market transformations are underway that's changing the whole trade finance space, and how all this will be supported by evolving regulatory frameworks, such as the World Economic Forum, G7, Law Commission, and so on. You'll see.
Which I published on LinkedIn a few days ago, because I updated this recently for a seminar, a company meeting with Bank ABC in Bahrain, and I was seeking feedback indeed from the community, and looking for your feedback today here as well, in terms this can be improved, and it can always be improved because we're living in an environment that is changing quite frequently. So the 4 market transformations that I want to highlight, and there is more to come in the slide as you would expect, is a role around the new client expectations. The clients expect much more from the service providers, whether you're a client versus a bank, or you're a client in the bank-to-bank space. And of course, this is all usually driven by more digitization, faster processing, and accessibility to services in an online fashion. But I'll give a few examples afterwards. The ESG trend is critical. We see it from the regulatory side, we see it from the asset management side, the banking side, the corporate side as well. It's impacting the whole corporate and banking ecosystems, and we have to take that into account. And of course, technology is also there to support this new priority, which I would put at the same level of importance as the sanctions and the whole compliance wave we have seen since the global financial crisis of 2008. So ESG, very important. Then another major market transformation is the new entrants in the market. And the new trends here in trade finance is mainly all about institutional investors getting into the market and supporting the trade space with additional liquidity and risk appetite, of course. And then the tokenization and digital assets from a tech side is also something we are seeing as impacting and driving innovation and new use cases in trade finance. And might be emerging. This is the start, but quite an exciting start. So those 4 trends, I suggest, are the ones that are basically a way to summarize what is happening from a mainly a technology side, market trends, but of course technology is a bit everywhere in trade finance. And this is all enabling transparency and accessibility. And of course, I will now use proof points to explain why I'm using those words. And of course, this is where we could have a debate about what is missing and what needs to be proven indeed, because there are some perspective here about what might happen in the future. So a few proof points, for instance, in terms of new client expectations, it's all about getting much more transparency indeed on any processing. It happened in the logistics space with the DHL delivery. You can track the life cycle of the delivery since years and years, but in the cross-border payment space, it's only happening now with Swift GPI enabled since a few years, I should say, and offering visibility on cross-border payments. And in trade finance as well, most of the processing the banks are doing on checking documents, for instance, are being reported more proactively to banks because they are more and more becoming digital. And that's what the clients expect, to know more about what is happening. The clients know it takes hours or days to process some transactions, but they want to keep a finger on the pulse of the whole end-to-end process. And of course, most of this transparency is all about getting status information on transactions, and this status information is also used for with some machine learning for trade-based money laundering, and contextual intelligence is provided by machine learning on the basis of transaction data. So that's really about how clients are expecting much more transparency on the existing business, basically. Now, when we talk about ESG, this is fairly new regulation, new requirements, mainly coming from the asset management side, but also the corporate side. And this is all about offering more transparency. What has happened with a particular transaction with regards to ESG? What about the gender balance in that company, on the board of that company? What about the age of the kids on a particular plant where goods are produced? All of this has to be provided so that companies can, and banks, of course, which are also companies, firms can be sure that the transactions they get involved in are compliant from an ESG perspective, because there is a huge reputational risk if you're getting involved in transactions that you should stay away from. Then the third trend or market transformation is all about trade as an investable asset class, where we see indeed the banks in need of new liquidity to be provided by those who have the liquidity and potentially also the appetite to invest in the real economy through other instruments that the classic instruments, the mainstream instruments like corporate bonds. And trade finance is a great way to indeed get more transparency on transactions, because it's very rich with data fields on the transaction. Is very also clear about the types of products, and the ESG checks can be performed on those. And that's why institutional investors more and more are considering and engaging, for some, still too few, investing in trade finance through trade finance funds, extending liquidity to banks and or to corporates, mainly on the mid-cap and SME segment, which is no competition necessarily with banks, because it's all about providing the liquidity that banks are not able, for various reasons, risk appetite, regulatory capital, able to provide to the mid-cap and the SME space. So it's a huge topic, and technology again is making trade accessible, which is why I put accessibility at the top there, to institutional investors. Now, the fourth one is digital assets. It's even more emerging than institutional investors, I would say. That's why I put it at the right-hand side. And it's all about being able to bridge markets in different way, making investments accessible in a different way through the use of digital assets on the blockchain, such as making trade as a new investment option for retail investors by enabling fractional ownership at a cost level that is much more attractive for those small budget investors, because retail investors obviously are investing less funds than institutional investors in any asset class, and certainly in trade as well. And this is what we're going to bring through TFD initiative. I'll come back on that. But of course, also blockchain is used for other capabilities, such as sharing status information, acting as a public notary of documents that are exchanged between institutions. And that's what we're doing on the DNI initiative on the model law for electronic transferable records, where we enable indeed banks to share through public blockchain the status of title documents.
Excellent information right there. Now we have a better understanding of major market transformations and how they're underway. Xdc Network to integrate groundbreaking DeFi compliance technology from SECURRENCY. SECURRENCY is a leading blockchain-based financial markets infrastructure and products company, announced that it will deploy its proprietary digital asset composer on the Xdc network. This is huge. It's a state-of-the-art blockchain with a mature ecosystem and particular focus on real-world applications in global trade and finance. Digital Asset Composer is a unique no-code platform for the creation of digital assets, sophisticated financial instruments as smart contracts on blockchain networks, and crowdsource financial engineering in an open ecosystem of value. It will allow the XDC network community to easily compose financial instruments and entire DeFi protocols, fractionalize real-world assets, and create highly customized utility NFTs. This is huge. And I noticed this tweet from Crypto KJ2, and I agree with him. I think people are overlooking the importance of this announcement. Investing in SECURRENCY means investing in the future. There you have Wisdom Tree, you have Stellar, you have MoneyX Group, US Bank, and it just goes on. This is from John Hensel, Chief Operating Officer, Senior Executive Officer of MENA at SECURRENCY. So tokenization can allow shares of a fund to be freely traded on a digital ledger, making the process more efficient for both the fund issuer and the end investors. From State Street. Huge news. Things just keep getting better and better. And here's some more news. Xdc Network Bounties are live. Through the sponsorship of the Xdc Foundation, bounties for developers on XDC Network are now live and will enable participants to be rewarded in XDC for their contributions. More good news. Now, if you see my latest video, I spoke a lot about the ITFA Porto 2022. Good news is that XDC Network received strong coverage at the conference. XDC Network was featured at the 48th Annual International Trade and Forfeiting Conference. Keep in mind that XDC Network is the only Layer 1 blockchain network members of the ITFA. SRX also received membership, an XRC20 project. As you can see in that picture right there, that's the ITFA chairman, Son Edwards, discussing the TOTTA token. You can also see Mr. Casterman, who's right there. Casterman kicked off the half-day FinTech program with a session of digital assets and invited Mr. Christoph, the founder and CEO of TradeTech, to present the result of the partnership between his company and XDC Network. Seems that the event went very well. Good news. The XDC name was put out there. And that's why these conferences are very important, because it enables all these different institutions, these fintechs, to be able to know how this is all going to interoperate. And they gain knowledge through it. Now, I cover a lot about XDC on this channel a lot. If you're new to this channel, maybe you're just coming along, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button. I'm going to put this link of this article down below. So if you want to learn more about the XDC network, maybe from ground up, you can read this article here. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Andrea Frozzanini, who is a member of the Board of Advisors at the TOTTA, which is a trans Oceanic Trade Tech Alliance. Andrea is not only the member of the board of advisors of the TOTTA, but also he's a business developer manager for XDC Foundation. He's also a management team member of the Blockchain Supply Chain Association, so he's pretty highly decorated. He's a busy man. Now, this is his other LinkedIn. This is the Trans-Oceanic Trade Tech Alliance. Now, let's see what this is all about. So the TOTTA plans to approach this in an exclusive way with collective vision of independent individuals with a wealth of experience. The larger team being mobilized will represent every segment of global trade by function, geography, size, and technology maturity. If you would like to look more into this, I'm going to put his profile in the description below. And this is good information right here. So the TOTTA intends to develop an open source library with data models and data sets of each accepted standards, software functions and APIs and NPIs to interconnect platforms and blockchain networks that may be incorporated by end-to-end users and technology companies. And as I stated, he's also connected to Blockchain Supply Chain Association, which if you are interested, they have a YouTube channel and it's all about blockchain, supply chain, trade finance, all kinds of great information and videos here about trade and global trade. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and put your thoughts, your comments down below. Please do hit the like, share, subscribe with friends and family. And I want to say thank you, everyone, for watching another edition of Token Topics. Are you bullish or bearish on XDC? I'm bullish. Everybody stay safe out there. Thank you.